Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown from caringourway.com. Thanks for being here. Thanks for those who have joined me live. We're going to talk about how you can become a paid grader for our oral exams and our training programs and receive free support through our training program participants. So here we go. Here is my presentation for you. Okay. I think I'll give you a little bit of background. One of One of the things that I've been working on for a while is figuring out how do I scale everything that I create. That is my goal. I want it to scale. I don't want it to just be one. I want it to be many because I believe there's such a need for family caregivers and we have to be prepared to provide the need. And because it's a very small business that I run, I've often thought, how do I scale me? And then late summer, I thought, one of the challenges I've had is having enough graders for oral exams. So training program participants in our coaching programs and our professional listening artists have to complete an oral exam as part of the certification requirements. And that oral exam is a real life planning session that they lead a client through. And I thought it's a real life planning session that a family caregiver could actually provide or participate in with the training program participant and get paid as a grader. And that way, the scale is family caregivers who are interested in working a little extra and making a little extra money. Ah, I mean, hello. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So through the training program, participants are required to actually have real world experience coaching and supporting family caregivers. As part of the certification requirements, they have to complete certain types of free services that they offer. And I thought, what if one of our consultants or professional listening artists is just not that connected on social media or just doesn't have a big network and they need to get family caregivers to actually receive their support while they're going through the training? Well, let's create a space on caringourway.com, our community, so that one of our training program participants can post their request to connect to family caregivers to give them a free planning session or free weekly check-in calls or a listening session. So that's one piece. So you can receive free support. I thought this is so great. It's just like, I don't know if you have these in your community. We have a training school for hairstylists. And if you have a limited budget, want a low, an inexpensive haircut from someone who knows how to give you a good haircut, you go to this training school and you get a low cost haircut from someone who's in the school who still gives you a great haircut. So that's the experience. You want support? You might be thinking, my budget is a little tight. You can receive free support from our consultants and professional listening artists. And you're doing them a service because they are practicing with you and meeting their certification requirements. So it's a win-win, win-win. I created a space on Caring Our Way, and I'll tell you a little bit about that before we close tonight. And if you join us, if this sounds of interest to you, you just have to join this space. And then consultants and professional listening artists in training will post a request that they can provide support, and they're looking for family caregivers and former family caregivers who need support. So they'll post that request in our private group. And then if you're able to, you can respond and say, yep, I can do it. And then you would just connect with that training program participant and schedule whatever it is, the free planning sessions, the weekly check-in calls, or the listening session. Okay, so that's the free support you receive. And then the opportunity to make a little extra money as a paid grader is this next item. So there's 2 training programs where participants must pass an oral exam. Certified caregiving consultants and professional listening artists have that requirement. Okay, so as a grader, we'll train you on how to be a grader. In essence, you'll meet with a training program participant. You'll ask them to provide a planning session with you, and then you just bring your real-world caregiving experiences into the conversation. As you do that, you are also going to track that the training program participant is actually delivering skills. And we'll teach you about that. We'll teach you how to actually track that. So the purpose of the oral exam is for the training program participant to demonstrate that they can deliver an effective planning session or listening session based on our requirements. I used to do this years ago, and I was the one that did the grading. And it was all based on what I heard in terms of skills I was looking for. You could say it probably was a little subjective. And I just felt like, I haven't figured this out right. I haven't figured this out right. And then it occurred to me, I can make this objective. So when a training program participant shows up for an oral exam, they know what they have to do. And you'll know what they have to do. And it's all numbers. You're just counting how many validations they've offered. And I'll teach you what a validation is during the training. How many closed-ended questions did they ask? Because they're not supposed to. And how many open-ended questions? So it becomes objective. You're just counting. And that's the pass-fail. So you are not required to be like, well, I don't know, should I? It's just numbers. So you count during the session, and your counting indicates whether or not they've passed or failed. So when I got that, honestly, I wouldn't be where we are right now with you guys being able to be a grader if I haven't figured that out. Because in order for you to be an effective grader, I need it to be objective. And counting the numbers is what makes it objective. So here's what you get. So if you are an oral grader for our certified caregiving consultants, it's $100, and that includes 2 hours. So 1 hour for the test and another hour, I estimate, for scheduling and the follow-up. And the follow-up is 24 hours later, you send an email to the consultants and say, you passed. If they failed, you would just say, you failed, and here's why. Consultants can take the oral exam as often as they need. So if you fail someone, there's no guilt around it because all they need to do is just take it over. So their first one was really practice. They'll get better, they'll pass. And then if you are a grader for our professional listening artist students, you get paid $50, and it's 30 minutes for a test and 30 minutes for scheduling and follow-up. In essence, it's $50 an hour. And I kind of packaged it for you so you have an idea of how many hours are involved and then total payment that you'll receive. So again, when you're grading consultants, it's $100. It'll be about 2 hours of your time. When you're grading professional listening artists, it's $50 and it'll be about an hour. Okay. I just want to mention that if you also want to help us promote our programs, because the more enrollees we have, the more business for you, you can actually join our affiliate program. We have graphics that you can use on social media to promote our training programs, and then you earn a 10% commission. Kim, you earn 20% as a training program participant graduate. So you can register as an affiliate on our website, careyearsacademy.com, and you'll see the little affiliates label in the top menu. Okay, so we start in January. There's a private space that I created on our community, caringourway.com. You just have to join. And then in January, I'll let you know when our training dates will happen, and you'll have a choice of different times and days. And the training will not be exhaustive, extensive, or overwhelming. It's most important that this is as simple as possible because it's good for everybody. If it's too complicated, it's going to be too hard for everyone. So the training will take no more than an hour. And then once you get trained and there's a need, we'll share in the group that the consultant needs to complete an oral exam, who's available. And then when a consultant would like to offer you support, they'll post in our private group and you just say, yep, I can do it. Okay, so what do you think? What questions might you have?
Okay. Now can I ask?
Yeah, go for it.
Because before I cared for my mom, I was actually working for staffing agencies. And my job was to each, client that I worked for, they would give me training of what I was supposed to do. And sometimes it worked out and sometimes it did not. So I was just wondering, hopefully, I can ask questions whenever I can, during the training, or
Oh yeah,
maybe
yes,
they could give
yeah.
me an email, hey, Kelly, if you have any more. Yeah, because sometimes it takes me a while to get it. Because, yeah, because I got ADHD going on and I got anxiety issues and all that. So,
And I'll record everything for you, so it's a resource for you. So
oh,
you could
cool.
watch the recording as often as you need. And if you get scheduled to be an examiner for someone in the consultant training, before you actually show up to provide the exam, you could watch the archived training again.
Mm,
And then you have a nice refresher, and then you're ready to go. So I'll provide the video, and then I'll also create a step-by-step guide.
oh, okay.
And I also want to mention too, that when you're grading and you're starting a session with a consultant, you can say to the consultant, I'm nervous about meeting with you today
Okay.
because family caregivers are nervous about meeting with consultants when they meet with them for the first time. So you're
Yeah.
sharing that I'm nervous today is exactly what happens during a real life consulting
Yeah.
session. The truth is, we want you to be authentic about how you're feeling during the session because that's the real world. So
Yeah.
nerves, worries, that shows up in a session when
Yeah.
it's a family caregiver, because that's the reality of caregiving. We're nervous and we're worried.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is just pay attention during the session and take some notes, and you'll be
Yeah.
good. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Kim
And
completed
I'm
her,
sorry,
oh,
one
oh, go
more.
ahead.
And do
Yeah,
you
go
know
for it.
how often, like, this
Yeah,
will?
so that's the one thing I cannot guarantee. I can't
Oh,
guarantee that you'll have a certain number every month. I think you should be prepared that it might take a little bit for this to actually happen, but I want us to be ready. I
yeah.
want us to be ready. I want us to be ready.
Okay.
Kim went through her oral exam in our consultant training within the past, gosh, did you finish it 2 weeks ago?
I
Last
wanna
week?
say
Yeah,
I wanna say
yeah,
it's about 2
yeah,
weeks.
yeah. So what was it like from your perspective as the consultant being graded?
Yeah, and so that's why I think it helps me a lot, just sitting here and being in this meeting because I just, did my oral exam not too long ago, and so I was on one side of it, and now hearing about the other side. Again, I felt so nervous because I was just like, "Oh, okay, well, one, I feel like I'm doing this with, um, a vet in a way, right? This is a caregiving consultant who, this is what I'm trying to do in this person. And she was super nice, super sweet. I love that it was a chance to connect too with someone else. I'm always looking for any chance to just connect, even if it's just like, how did you get over XYZ? You can ask questions and get and gain insight. But no, yeah, I feel like uh getting that feedback at the end was so helpful for me. Um and just like you said, Denise, it literally was, we were holding a session. We were holding a session, and my orator got to pretty much tap back into her caregiving experience, and that's the example that we used. And so, yeah, no, it's I'm glad that that's a part of the,
Yes,
and
and
that's a,
yeah.
oh,
I
sorry, go ahead.
No, I know that's something I wanted to ask you. So I think it's important too, as our graders are watching this video and thinking about it, why it's important to the consultants in training to complete and pass this oral exam.
Yes, 100%. I feel like there isn't an assignment that is just like, what is with this useless assignment? And that is, I mean, I'm a pretty, honest and a straightforward person. I have tact, but I would be like, it would be one thing if there was an assignment where I'm like, okay, Denise just put this in here as a filler. No, like every assignment, there's a reason for it, and it's to better you, to make you more equipped, and to kind of, what am I trying to say? Give you that experience, that real world experience. And so with this part of the certification requirement, with this being an oral exam, I was like, that's so interesting, but it's so helpful because again, you now have had your first run through, with the planning, whichever, planning you end up picking. I'm pretty sure mine was a family emergency planning. Um, but yeah, no, it's so helpful, and I think it's so necessary, and I'm really glad that it was a part of the certification.
I think it's just so helpful for you to feel good about overcoming nerves and feeling good about the work you're going to bring into the world. And that's one of the goals of the oral exam. And I think it's important for the graders to understand that this is something that's important to the consultants. And it also is important to the work that the consultants do.
I
Okay.
had a question, Denise.
Oh, yes, go for it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go for it.
um, so just breaking down, and I believe this is new, so I'm sure that there's some things that would work out come January. Um, but my first question was kind of like, okay, so let's say there are several consultants that want to be a part of this. Um, what, I guess, cycles through all of them? Like, what stops the same consultant from being the picked or chosen every time?
Yeah, so it's consultants and family caregivers. So it could be anyone in a caregiving situation.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
isn't that cool? So one of the things I thought is, how can we make it easy for family caregivers to earn a little extra money?
Got it.
So the graders is one of the ways that we can help family caregivers earn a little extra money. So it's consultants and family caregivers and former family caregivers who want to be a part of this program. And we would figure out the rotation because it's not fair for just like one person to get everything, right? The other thing to keep in mind is we also might look at schedules. So it could be that a consultant only has availability on a certain day and time, and it might be that there's just one grader that happens to have that availability. So we'll work through it. And it could be that we run through the circle, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who did it first, who's second. And then if there's something unusual or specific about requirements for timing, then that might throw off the rotation a little bit. But I think Definitely. I mean, it's not fun or fair if it's this one person that gets everything. The goal is that we spread the love, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's
I feel
it.
like
I
I had
know.
another
I can't think
question.
of anything
Go ahead.
Oh,
else.
Kim, did you have another question?
I feel like I didn't, and then suddenly it popped out my head. So I'm sorry, Kelly, you can go.
No, I didn't. I don't have anything either. Yeah.
I'm trying to guess could be a good question. We'll go into more detail and specifics in the training in January. My goal is that it's just a nice experience for everyone. It's nice to be able to make a little extra money. If you're a grader as a consultant, it's good to feel like, oh my gosh, I got through that. It was great. I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go out into the world as a consultant.
Mhm.
Okay. You always can post questions. Before
Yes.
we leave, though, you know what I'm going to do is just put our link to our group in the chat room, and you guys are welcome to join it. And for those of you who are watching the archive, I'll post this link in our show notes. And again, it's a private group. So okay, here we go. Okay, so you can join, and then again, after the holidays, I thought, I don't think we need to really do this before the holidays. That
I
just
was
seemed
gonna
like,
say.
that just
Yeah.
seemed like, I think it would just be me interested in doing this before the holidays. I think January is soon enough, and that'll
Yeah.
get us off to a good start for the new year, 2025. So I'm really excited about this. I'm so glad you guys are interested in
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with you and really, again, making this a very successful initiative.
Yeah. I need as many
Okay.
as I can get.
Yeah, right. There we go. I think
It's been a
that's the goal,
while.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you always feel better with money in your pocket, money in the bank. That's
Yeah.
just the reality of it. You just feel better. And I'll post the archive tomorrow on our YouTube channel and on caringourway.com.
Okay.
Okay, thanks you guys. Have a good
And
evening.
well,
Oh,
I have one more question. I don't know if I should
sure.
ask this now, but how will the payment be? Will it be like direct deposit or would it be like
And we'll talk about it in January.
in
It'll
January?
be,
Okay.
yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
easy. It'll be easy because for you to receive it easy, it's easy for us to send it to you. We just want it to be easy, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to have this exhaustive payroll system that is just like a nightmare,
Yeah.
right? There's so
Yeah.
many easy ways to send money. We'll just do it an easy way. So
Yeah.
basically, you would probably, this is how we do it. We have skills consultants in our consultant training program. That's the silver level. They submit an invoice to us on Friday mornings. We pay them out Friday afternoons. So we would do something similar. And they either request Venmo or PayPal. I think we would organize it to do something maybe a little bit differently, but it would be very similar. You submit an invoice on Friday morning and we pay out Friday afternoon.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, thanks you guys. Yeah, thanks so much
Thank
for being
you.
here. Yeah, have a good week and
Yeah.
okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.